Swept Away with Jennifer Broom, brought to you by Ready to get swept away?
In San Antonio, there are a couple of things that you have to have. You gotta have a great pair of boots, you gotta have a great belt buckle, and you gotta have a hat. The place to go for a hat in San Antonio, Ferris Hatters.
Once inside, have fun trying on all sorts of hats.
Stop, maybe try these. These are the hot thing that a lot of kids are into. That one's too small. You have to do George Strait, even though this is a guy's hat. The Mad Hatter. So if I were Charlie Chaplin, I'd be... Okay, some people have big heads.
Ferris Hatters has been family owned and operated since 1917. It's world famous, and its owner, Abe Cortez, is known as the Hat Man to celebrities.
I did Pope John Paul, I've done Paul McCartney, I've done Dwight Yoakam. We've done so many. We've done 4 presidents. We've done like Lyndon Johnson. We've done so many celebrities. Pavarotti, just about a year before he passed away. We've just done so many celebrities. I just did Kid Rock and Bob Dylan. That was quite an experience with Bob Dylan. Nice guy, but very, he has his own way. Had his own entourage. It was very neat. I've done Don King, the boxing promoter. Just so many people in this business over the years.
Don't think that every hat has to be expensive.
We carry here at Ferris Hatters, we carry any hat from 20 bucks all the way up to $7,500. And the $7,500 are people like Dwight Yoakam, Johnny Cash, more of the celebrities. Merle Haggard has one of those hats, and they come in a leather case. A local person also is Red McCombs also has one of those hats, and they're beautiful. It's cashmere and ermine. It's a 1000X, and it's beautiful, just beautiful.
People come in here for the custom fit.
When you size a hat, you have to size a hat to the person's their weight, their height, and their shoulder width. You see people, a short man wearing a big hat like this, it's not going to look right. It's like a suit has to fit a person correctly. So here we try to fit a person where it looks natural, where he's been wearing it all his life. It's part of his physique, and that's what we do. And then we do a lot of custom shaping. A hat goes by X's. You know, like for instance, yours is the 10X. But they start at a 2X.
By the way, I got mine from here almost 10 years ago.
And they last forever. But you know, your basic hat is a 2X, and that's your moderate open. I'm talking in a winter hat. And the higher the X's, the more expensive.
But Ferris Hatters doesn't just specialize in cowboy hats.
That's
so
the Tom Landry. That's
something
the
like
Tom
that?
Landry style. This is the wider brim, what we call the gangster or the fedora style. My dad would sell these back in the 30s all the way to the early 60s until JFK became in office, and that kind of killed the hat business because he was the first president not to wear a hat at the night. It just killed it until Reagan came in. It was just one of those. But
so you've got all of these. I think the traditional fedoras.
The traditional fedoras, and these are for the winter time. These are the felt and the wool. They're to keep you warm. And then, like right now, we go to the straw hats. And the big thing now is also straw. It's a lot cooler. Is the Panama, which is white. Panama is always white, and this is a big deal now. We sell so many Panamas in this, and that's my #1 seller right there.
So I know Kid Rock was in here fairly recently. If you want to look like Kid Rock, can you show me the hat that he got?
Certainly.
It's the Tom Landry hat that runs in a range of $59 to $200.
This is a narrow brim that Kid likes to wear, but like Carlos Santana, he wears a very similar hat, but with a wider brim. He likes the wider brim. everybody's different, you know. James Taylor, he wears a hat like this.
So Abe, not only do you do all kinds of hats, but you also do some of these caps. So, for
The
example,
golf caps, you got it. Very,
ready to go.
Very popular.
Time for me to get a new hat.
and you've picked out 4 for me to choose from.
Right. This is a very traditional ladies' hat. We sell a lot of it. It's a resistol. It sells for $75. It's a nice hat. And notice that it's not so wide and not so tall because you're very narrow. And see how it just blends in with you.
And that's what you try to do to fit it to the person.
Your height, your weight, and your shoulder width. It's very important. You don't want the hat to overpower you, or you don't want to underpower you. See, that looks very nice. It blends in nicely.
And this is something that I could wear during the day. I could wear it to
certainly.
an evening function.
Certainly.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, this is a summer weight. You know, it's straw, so it'd be very cool. And very, very popular. Another one, the second most popular, of course, is what we call the Gambler. And this is very popular with men and ladies. Again, flat top, small brim. You see that?
No, I have to laugh at a hat called the Gambler.
Right there, see? Very nice.
So which
Very
one
good.
do you like better on me so far?
I think I like that one.
That one?
And that matches your boots. The band matches your boots. And then, of course, we have what we call kind of the Weekender. It's
And these are something that have just become, what, super
yeah, in
popular.
the last year or two, it's a kind of a Kenny Chesnick type of deal. And
Because Kenny Chesney wears one of these every show.
It's similar, but see how it's just a real casual, laid-back, drinking beer type of hat. Not very expensive, 25 to about 45 bucks.
So
And
while
it's-
you're sitting back drinking in the pool or in the river and it goes
exactly. You didn't lose much.
Yeah.
Then Abe uses steam to reshape my Stetson that I bought here almost 10 years ago. Gotta get it ready for rodeo season.
See how it gives it such a crisp shaping, and then you simply finish it off with a little bit of dusting down, and it almost makes it like new again, if it's a good hat like this one is. And you just give it a slight roll, and give it a nice little roll, and there you go.
And I'm good to go.
So take time to wander through, perhaps pick up a Stetson or a golf hat, and spend time checking out the walls for a history of hats and pictures of the famous folks who've shopped here. You never know who you might see at Ferris Hatters.
So I got my winter hat all fixed up, and Abe, you got me set for summer with a brand new hat. Thank you so much for having us here at Ferris Hatters today. It's always a special treat to come see you.
Thank you for coming in. Enjoyed having you.
So it's time for me to trade in my cowboy boots for tennis shoes. We're gonna go cruise around San Antonio.
And we're doing that Segway and river barge style. Plus,
Want to learn how to make Meaty Etta's world famous michelada? And what is their #1 dish? We're going in the kitchen. Vroom vroom! Let's roll!
but before I can roll, I have to get a how to ride a Segway lesson inside.
So Jennifer, your first time on a Segway, take hold of the handlebars and just go ahead and step on up. There you go. All right, now if you look forward rather than downwards, helps you center that balance.
I'm moving.
You are, just very, very slightly. What I want you to do is just give a little lean forward onto your toes, and you're going to start moving forwards. And as you get to me,
Whoa!
think stop. It's as subtle as a thought.
Then what happens if I go too far backwards?
That's okay. I got you. You're absolutely safe, okay? Turn the handlebars that way. Just give it a little push in that direction. There you go. And this time, it's going to be facing me.
Got it.
There you go. Nice little lean onto your toes. As you get to me, nice gentle stop. Push the handlebars that way around. Okay. And come forward toward me. And as you're coming forward, once you give it a little turn in this direction, there you go. And give it a turn around.
I'm good.
Do you notice how much easier it's getting? The more you ride it, the more confidence you find.
Words to live by on a Segway. When in doubt, stick your butt out. That'll help you slow down and stop. It's time to take it outside.
Let's rock and roll. Literally rolling.
And off we go to tour downtown San Antonio. Now I can't be a speed demon on this thing. The max speed of a Segway, 12.5 miles per hour. But that's fast enough on sidewalks.
Okay, right up ahead of us now we're going to come up to Houston Street, which is of course named after the very famous General Sam.
That would be Sam Houston.
I know it's either Houston or Street. I just can't remember the two of them. Actually, Sam Houston is probably most famous, not just for being the leader of Texas and leading the battles for the independence of Texas, but he's also the only governor of all of the United States of history to have been the governor of 2 separate states.
Sam Houston was the governor of Tennessee and Texas.
Okay, our next stop up the road is going to be the Buckhorn Saloon and Museum.
The famous Buckhorn.
It is.
The Buckhorn is the oldest saloon in Texas. It was established in 1881.
Started something very popular back in his days to become the most attractive bar and saloon in Texas at the time. He put a big sign outside the front saying, "We'll exchange 1 set of Buckhorns for a free beer." Consequently,
That's a good deal.
You used to have a look on top, you see all the Buckhorns that are sticking up off the shelter and under the entranceway.
Yeah.
Those are original. Those are some of the 2,500 free beers he gave away.
Wow. So Joe, do you get a lot of funny looks from people driving by?
Oh, we get so many looks of all different types. One of the things I enjoy most of all is people think they're coming to do a tourist attraction. They become the tourist attraction. People pull out their cameras, take photos of us. A lot of people, it's the very first time they've ever seen a Segway. So it's a real thrill, and of course everybody on the tour gets a real buzz out of that.
I have to test out being a tourist attraction myself by doing donuts and figure eights.
Well, welcome to San Antonio's #2 tourist attraction, the Riverwalk. With the
Number 1 is the Alamo, number 2 is Riverwalk.
Hey, Segways are number 1. Come on. No, you're right. The Alamo
But you gotta somehow get around to those places.
Exactly. No, the Alamo is the most popular tourist attraction, and we'll go there in just a little bit. We're actually very lucky to have the Riverwalk. Back in 1921, such a devastating flood actually happened on the river right here in San Antonio. This street itself, Houston Street, was under 9 feet of water. 49 people died in that flood. $8 million worth of damage. For 1921, that's an amazing amount of damage that was done to downtown San Antonio. And the city had actually made plans to bury the river under the city and build buildings over the top of it. Very fortunately, a great architect by the name of Robert Hugman came along and he said, you know what, we can develop this, we can save the river. And they actually channeled out a little bit of land so the river could keep running straight rather than having to curve around where all the restaurants are. That's actually the natural flow of the river. And of course he channeled that out, and sure enough, all these years later, here we are, we've got the Riverwalk.
The downtown reach of the Riverwalk is the 2.5-mile stretch of the Riverwalk that's lined with hotels, restaurants, bars, and shops. Look at the folks on the river barge checking us out.
Welcome to Main Plaza. This is the actual area where all of the city of San Antonio actually started. 200 residents came over from the Canary Islands, helped settle things all around here, and of course, the main attraction of Main Plaza is the San Fernando Cathedral. San Fernando Cathedral is actually, right now, the oldest continuously functioning cathedral in the United States of America.
San Fernando was founded in 1731. You can still go to Mass there today.
Back in 1836, folks rode up to the Alamo on their horses. I'm riding up on my Segway.
Okay, Jen, here we are. Probably the biggest star attraction of not just in San Antonio, the entire state of Texas, the Alamo. The site of the great famous Battle of the Alamo, where Davy Crockett and his men, William Travis, Bowie, Bowdoin, etc., held off the Mexican army for 13 days.
Okay, you know what I love, Joe?
What's that?
That folks are here to see the Alamo, and they're looking at us.
And why not?
Nearly 4 million people visit the Alamo every year.
That pretty much wraps up a Segway tour in San Antonio. How did you enjoy it?
I loved it. It's such a great way to cruise the city and see all the sights, and everything that you know about the city is fantastic too. So it's a history lesson on wheels.
It is, and it saves your legs.
Guess that means it's time to eat.
San Antonio is the Tex-Mex capital of the world. One place you have to go, Meaty Etta's. It's world famous. Let's go inside.
Pete and Cruz Cortez started Meaty Etta in 1941 with only $150.
3-table restaurant, my mother in the kitchen, grandfather, grandmother helping out in everything they could. It eventually grew to hold 600 people.
It's still a family-run restaurant.
Absolutely. No other way. All our children work here, and our grandchildren are starting to come to work also. And
the mural that covers a wall in Meaty Etta tells the story.
This is called the American Dream. And it, you know, in the centerpiece is my grandmother, my grandfather who started the business, the founders.
That's your grandmother in
my grandmother in purple, and my grandfather white hair with the black rim, and then my aunt Rosalinda next to him, my father Manuel, my Uncle David, George with the hat, and my Uncle Reuben. And that is the first and second generation, and then over here by the kitchen is the third generation. And here it's my cousin Christina, Deborah, along with our grandmother, and then my cousin Pete and myself, you know, closer to the kitchen, you know, never forget.
That's because the kitchen's the heart, even in the home. That's the heart of the home.
That's the heart.
So
that's
why they put
absolutely
you
right.
there.
I'm glad you know that. I mean, the kitchen is the heart of any restaurant, especially this one. Hey, Jen, you want to go into the kitchen and make a deluxe Mexican dinner with me?
Absolutely.
You ready?
I got to get an apron and everything.
I have an apron coming, and we need
Hairnet.
a hairnet. Yeah, I'll probably put a cap. I don't know about a cap. I'll find something for you.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Get ready for some kitchen entertainment.
I've got my apron on, putting on my hat. We are in the kitchen. We're gonna fix up the #1 dish here at Meaty Etta.
Are you working in the kitchen?
Yes?
All right, good.
Does this mean I have to wash dishes too?
Yes.
Oh no!
All right, Jen, here we go. We got orders up, and they're asking for the #1 dish, deluxe Mexican dinner, right there, medium well.
Okay.
We got a steak running.
We're good
Cooking there. We're good
Okay.
there. Now we need the large plate,
Okay.
and we need to do. Watch yourself.
Oh, those are good.
We got beans and we need some rice. So put it right there.
One big old scoop like that?
One big old scoop, just like that. Perfect.
All right.
Now we need 1 enchilada.
Just one?
Just one.
Okay, where does it go?
Right. Long way.
That
There
way?
you go. Just that's it. Right
Totally
there.
making a mess already.
That's okay. You have your rag. Don't forget. These are tamales. You got a pork tamal just out of the corn shuck here.
Oh, that looks so good.
All right. Now we're coming this way. Watch your step.
And I should say, while we're doing this, that everybody in here is still feeding everybody that's out in the restaurant.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is
that
the
looks
chili
amazing.
meat gravy. Remember, next not this weekend. The next the weekend after next is the return of the chili queens. The chili queens is what they would make out for all their patrons in the market, but it was not in a gravy form. It was more like carne guisada, bigger chunks of meat with a chili. Always made with chili ancho, which is the dried form of a poblano pepper. But as the years went by, we started to put the chile con carne over the enchilada and the tamal. And so now this is the basis for Tex-Mex food, the chili meat gravy. And that goes over the enchilada and the tamal, just like that. Now we walk this way.
Oh, we gotta make a taco?
We're gonna make a taco, but first we gotta put aged cheddar cheese. And let me tell you, enchiladas in the market used to be with white cheese, fresh queso fresco. But over the years, you know, people wanted cheddar cheese. Americanize it. That's where the Tex and the Mex comes in. We've always put it in a convection oven, never microwave. Hit the pan, and it's a-going.
Okay.
All right, next, we get a crispy taco. I want you to put it in your hand there.
Left-handed, so.
You're left-handed? I'm left and right-handed. Here, you want to fill that up just like that. Oh. There you go, there you go, there you go. Now that's a taco. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I like mine with a lot of meat in there.
All right, you want to hold that?
Yeah, I sure will.
I'm going to do the guacamole. And meanwhile, we have our dish in the oven. Put a little bit of lettuce. Come over here to the guacamole.
You're lucky I haven't
Look at
started eating this yet.
Let me see here. Let me.
You hold that one too?
Yeah, hold this one too. And I'm going to borrow your rag.
Okay.
Right on this side. Thank you.
See, I came prepared when I came
You
to the
came
kitchen.
prepared. Okay. Ooh,
Oh, boy.
15 seconds more. We're ready. Okay.
We gotta hurry.
And Jen, we have food backing up. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do is put the guacamole here. We're gonna put a little bit of a leaf lettuce. Lettuce, tomato. Put the taco here.
And we still have to get a steak on here too?
And we still have to put a steak on here. Let's go back. Is my ribeye ready? Oh yes.
The
This
number one
is
dish.
the deluxe Mexican dinner, the #1 seller here at Meaty Etta.
We add the finishing touches.
Deluxe Mexican dinner, a little queso fresco over the beans, and voila, there you
Order
go.
up!
And the sign says, "We never close." That's right, Meaty Etta is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Coming up, woo, look at me, I'm driving a river barge.
Visit San Antonio and be moved. Deep, deep in the heart.
All aboard!
This is my Captain Tony Avila with Rio San Antonio. We're going for a ride on the river. It's the only way that you can ride the Riverwalk.
We open at 9 a.m. and the only thing that really shuts us down is rain, weather. Other than that, we run all year long. There aren't that many downtimes. January is a little bit slow because of the weather and the draining of the river, but other than that, we hit it hard. We hit it running at 9 a.m. and go until the last person is out of the line.
You don't have to make reservations, and the wait is never longer than 15 minutes. Even in the summertime heat, it's a way to stay cool and still see the city.
While it's still very hot and we throw umbrellas on board for people to kind of shade themselves a little bit, it is a good 8 to 10 degrees cooler on the Riverwalk, and people pick up on that real quickly. And they come down and they stay at this level for a long time because it is cooler in the peak of summer.
There are a couple of spots where you can start the tour.
You can start at River Center Mall, that location. You can start at Historia, which is across from the Hilton, or you can start at the Aztec Theater. And you're going through and the driver is telling you not only about the building, the history of the building, famous people that have lived here, what's unique about that particular structure or this particular part of the river or the development, the architect of the river, the plants, and it's a whole combination that it just engages you.
So off we go down the river at a pace of a brisk walk. The barge goes about 2 miles per hour. And immediately Tony gives me a little history on the San Antonio River.
The river itself actually starts out about 4 miles behind us. Headwaters are on the campus of Incarnate Word University. The river goes south about 138 miles before it hits the Guadalupe River, a couple of miles before the Guadalupe enters the Gulf of Mexico. Right now we are traveling in the natural flow of the river. The original part of the Riverwalk, the sidewalks and bridges, they were built between 1939 and 1941 under Franklin Delano Roosevelt's Work Progress Administration, the WPA.
And a special treat? He lets me drive.
It's just like driving a big Cadillac. Turn, 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 faster, faster.
I love that as we cruise, Tony knows so much about the sights along the way.
This is the Tower Life Building. If you look all the way to the top of the Tower Life Building, you'll notice there's gargoyles that stick out about 5 feet from the corners of the building. And then coming up over to our left here, above the tree line, below the windows, you'll notice 10 pairs of ugly faces going all the way around the building. Those are known as grotesque. The men who built the building were very superstitious. They put the gargoyles and the ugly faces there to scare off evil spirits and bad business. Didn't work out too good. The building was completed in 1926 at a cost of almost $3 million. Well, in 1929, as you know, we had the stock market crash and the beginning of the Great Depression. As a result of the Great Depression, the men who owned the building did eventually go bankrupt. They had to put the building on the auction block.
We passed the Aztec Theater that opened in 1926.
The only surviving Aztec-themed theater in the state of Texas. It was just recently renovated. They have a live country music show there on the weekends, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, called San Antonio Rose Live.
And a wave to the barge we're passing.
There's a scene where Jennifer Lopez was sitting on that bridge.
That bridge was made famous in the movie Selena. Then by La Mansion Hotel, it was the first 4-star hotel to open on the river.
We're coming up on my favorite spot on the tour. The Vicks Hospital is pretty cool. From river level, it gives the optical illusion of being a freestanding wall. Looks like one wall standing straight up by itself. Directly ahead of us is the Hyatt Regency Hotel. The Hyatt's pretty unique in the fact that the river enters the building at this point coming up on our left side here. It's known as the Paseo del Alamo, or passageway to the Alamo. If you're ever on this part of the river and you want to find the best, fastest way to get to the Alamo, that's it right there.
Another must-see spot is the Arneson River Theater.
You're going to notice the stage is going to be over to the right, seats over to the left, seats cut directly out of the banks of the river. During the summer months, they hold performances here nightly. The seating holds about 800 people here to our left. If you look to the right behind the stage, you're going to notice 5 bells. Those 5 bells commemorate the 5 missions here in San Antonio: Mission San Juan, Mission San Jose, Concepcion, Espada, and the Alamo. The large bell in the center, if you look in the middle, you notice the one in the middle is a little bigger than the rest. It's also dedicated to Robert H.H. Hugman. He's the architect who designed the original part of the Riverwalk.
From the downtown reach, we head to the new section called the Museum Reach.
Here we go, the lock and dam, it's coming up.
We pull in, the gates close, and up we go. Lining the banks are pathways where you can walk or jog.
You could jog for 3 miles from Pearl all the way to the downtown reach that's uninterrupted.
So whether you take the river barge tour or jump on and off one of the water taxis, cruising the river is a must. And enjoy learning about the history and culture as you ride the Rio of San Antonio. Until the next time we get swept away, adios from San Antonio.